Hello, y'all know. Hello, what's up? What's up with everybody? I know the camera or whatever, y'all can hear me pretty good, I think. I know the camera probably is not as clean. Your boy's still healing, so I couldn't bring all the equipment with me. But I think I'm going to find it a good adjustment. This just showed me an opportunity that you I always been like that. You don't need that much equipment, but only thing I really think I should have right now for this live stream, since we just like the little mobile setup I'm trying. I should have had a mic just to hold in my hand. I think a mic would have been like, you know, we're on the move and on the go. So as you can see, we are back in our hotel, traveling for obligations. And so yeah, let's get into it. Let me check the sound, make sure we're good. Yeah. So we're good like normal. Get our disclaimer up. You know, I love a good. Well, honestly, we don't need the disclaimer right now because I'm going to play a clip for you all. It's somebody everybody likes actually, and I scratched myself on the face a little bit right here, but I just cut my nails, so I don't know how I scratched myself on the face, but it's cool though. It happens. Just yeah, chalk it up as a scratch. Um. All right. I would love to play this from the beginning, which I am. Okay. All right, quick, guys. All right. So this guy is pretty popular. Obviously, I like the video because it gives me content. And two, the guy has pretty good business strategies. I don't watch him like that, honestly, like I should, just being honest. But he's very respected as a business guy. His name is Alex Hormozy. I think you see it down there. And he is the founder of Acquisition. And so I watched this clip one time. I watched this clip one time. And now I'm gonna watch it with you all. You see my subscriptions over here? There's all these subscriptions I'll be using to get help on the business and stuff. Okay, let's see. Give me a few seconds, guys. Make sure everything. I want to make sure it's playing from the beginning.
There's no need. There's two things that have made college significantly less valuable. So thing number one is that the education that you get at college is for sure inferior now to free alternatives. Like,
oh, he said this is about is college necessary, by the way.
That was like maybe arguable and is now definitive. Like an AI tutor that can teach you whatever you want in real time is more valuable. On the other side, from a cost basis, it for sure doesn't fucking make any sense because you can get a better thing for less. So like now there's that part. And so then the only thing that people make the argument for college is that it forces networking for people who start with lower socioeconomic status to network with people with higher socioeconomic status. That is maybe the only thing. But I mean, like, there's platforms like School and whatnot that can bring communities together. But the last piece is like, okay, well, do you have higher earning power? Which is literally just not true anymore. Like, you don't have higher earning power as a result of being a college graduate. And so the value proposition is you don't get more educated, you don't get better job prospects, it costs money and takes longer. And I think that has just gotten more and more extreme in the past 4 years. And I think that will accelerate. Like, if you're 18 years old right now, there's very little point in saying I want to become a doctor. Like, by the time that you graduate 8 years from now, and then you're finished your residency 10 years from now, whatever it is, like, there will be surgical robots and diagnostic robots right now that they'll literally beat humans at everything. And we can say whatever we want. When it comes to health, I think people are going to be like, I would choose human, but I'm going to choose the thing that gets me to die less. There's two things that have made college significantly less valuable.
Okay. So some of this was probably clickbait. Because I'm just gonna crush it right here. How would you say we're gonna have robots in 10 years when we don't even want EV vehicles in 10 years? Like, we should have been have EV cars or literally EV cars we still prefer gas over like the healthy things that are good for the environment. But let's stay on topic. He sounds like a complete, you know, because he went to college. That's the first thing I text Alex, y'all. I said, like, I don't have like a group chat or community who could all just be roasting this. So it's kind of like I just texted to Alex. And then Alex is like, what she said? Oh, she said, let me see. I quote, let me quote her real quick. I've been testing a lot lately. She said, he looks like a barbarian for starters. And who is he? He's a disgrace for having the same name as me, and using AI as a tutor is crazy work. Yeah, barbarian is crazy though. And so running that, I agree with what he said that networking from a lower socioeconomic status to higher socioeconomic status is that was a good answer. That was probably like one of the, I guess he was being serious in that moment, but then he immediately went back to saying off the wall, like, I just want y'all to click this and give me some views because I really don't care. But he went to college. I think Alex Hormozi went to Purdue University or Vanderbilt. He went to a very good college. And you know what I love about LinkedIn? He has a LinkedIn. So, right quick. All right, quick. I can look him up and then show you, because you know, and I got something that's actually, dang, he was just popping up. There you go. And I got something else that kind of trumps what he says, like it knocks it down immediately, like what we're going to follow up and talk about right after that. Because downplaying college only works in his favor. He's a business owner. So you have to remember that when you hear a business person say college is not worth it, you have to understand that they're coming from a place of like, I can teach you everything. You can come through me. But it's like at the end of the day, when you want to pivot and go somewhere else that kind of requires traditional training or traditional education, you can't pivot. So you're forced to stay doing that one thing, right? And then that's kind of like what Google does and all these other big corporations. Like, you don't need to go to school. You can learn everything through us. We pay for it, right? Nothing is free in life. Keep that in mind. Nothing is ever free. So that's why I always say try to like keep that in mind when you, and he might not even hire you. That's another thing. So I got his LinkedIn pulled up. And so as you see, he went to Vanderbilt University. And if you've been rocking with us, you know that Vanderbilt University is a prestigious university. It's prestigious. It's not some, forgive me, it's not a Valdosta State University or Georgia State. And it's a highly, like Georgia State is actually really good for research, actually. I'm gonna take that out. But Vanderbilt is a highly research institution. And if you go there to Vanderbilt, you're going to have access to a lot of connections like he probably has. And that's the stuff we always have to talk about, is that he can't tell you not to go to college and it's not worth it. And he went. It's like me saying, guys, college is not worth it. You don't need to go. And you're like, but you went and got your master's, bachelor's, associates, and you're successful. Shouldn't I go to college? And you be like, so it's kind of like, yes, you should go to college, guys. Highly 100% you should go to college. I think everybody should get some type of degree. If you get an associate's degree and stop, I really think that's enough. If you feel like, I think it's enough only if you can expand on it and take, like, go and do something that just don't require it. Like I tell people, if you're going into the music industry, for example, you don't need a degree unless you want one. But, you know, like people like J. Cole, he the only person I can think of off the top of my head that's in the music industry that has a bachelor's degree, which is a fun fact. And so, yeah, this guy is really popular though. But when you hear people like him, because he gets a lot of views and he don't even know about college. He don't have no higher education background, respectable business person. But when you don't know nothing about education, you sound like he can't get into education community. He probably don't care to get into education community. And that's okay, because, you know, people of this nature probably think money is everything, and that as long as I have the money and the business acumen, I could get into the rooms and money is power, business is power, and all that other crap they come up with. I'm not really into all that. But what I am interested in is that you're kind of giving misinformation. It's like me speaking on like, get it, speaking. You see what I did there? It's like me speaking on business things, honestly. I don't consider myself to be a business person. It's like me speaking on financial things. I don't consider myself to be financially savvy. If you ever hear me talk about anything financial, like investments, I always say do the S&P index. And like, if you want to go to a financial channel, please go find them. There are plenty financial channels out there. Like, people should stay in their lane, but this is what happens when you get, I guess, into the YouTube realm too much or social media too much. You think you know everything. And that's a bad variable to have in life. Ooh, a bad variable to have in life. Get it? Because it moves in life and you're moving around too much into a bad area. I like that. That was a good bar right there.
There's no need.
Well,
There's two things that have made college significantly less valuable. So thing number one is that the education that you get at college is for sure inferior now.
And that's what he said too. I wanted to play. I knew it was in the beginning. And before we leave off of this, he said that like when you go to college and you do your medical, so if you're in medical school, please keep going. If you want to go to medical school, please go. If you want to do like any high level, like med school, PhD school, law school, PT school, like physical therapy, anything that requires a type of school like that, and it's probably gonna be like $100,000 or more, it's worth it in the long run. Now, where people are falling trapped to this is where I come in for speaking on behalf. You have to understand that most of these things that you're trying to go to the, like you're thinking about, for example, my law school friend, my boy is gonna get me, my boy Curtis is gonna get me. But I got to use his. His is like the most simplest one. For one that is not medical and related and all that, I would have to bring somebody who's medical related that can tell me like how the residency and all that goes. But it's still similar. But with law school, for example, if you are trying to go to law school, I always say that you probably want to get a associate's degree first. Not because you're not intelligent enough to go to school and do it, but if you're in a certain situation where like, because you know, I learned more since we've been on this channel. Unless you get into like a big Ivy school or schools that have the money, like we talked about on Financial Aid Friday with Sam, like if schools have the money, like the endowments or extra pile of money just laying around for you, they can offer you more money to go to school, but it's only at that institution. That's what we learned, that when you complete your financial aid package, like this is not tied in with Pell. Pell is like federal. And then when you go to a bigger school, for example, like we always got to say like Yale or Harvard, because we know they have a ton of money and we know they have their money working for them in the market. Literally, they invest their endowment money into investment so that it can capitalize and potentially go back to you when you apply to the school. And so we cooking. And so make sure you like and subscribe, please. Repost this on your LinkedIn or any platform while you're watching and let other people know we're live. And so when you apply to those big schools, that's why you're like, oh, I don't have any debt, blah, 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 or I'm not going to owe any money at that school. So like, that's why we cleared it up. Like he helped me clear it up. So if I go apply to my school, like Valdosta State University, Valdosta State University probably does not have enough money to offer me with a normal GPA, but they can probably offer somebody who has an exceptional GPA. They're like an exception. Like they have like a 4.0, for example. But you go to a school like Harvard or apply there, you can have like a solid GPA transferring in or starting there from the gate, but they're going to give you a lot of money so you don't have to worry about the burden cost of going to college. And then there's a person like him who probably doesn't know that because he didn't go to a prestigious school like that. He went to Vanderbilt. But Vanderbilt is very prestigious, but not Ivy or Ivy adjacent, I believe. And so, but they say Vanderbilt, I think they say Vanderbilt is like the Ivy of the South. So I just don't know though, because for him to have that mindset about college costs, I feel like he fell victim to that. So I don't know his socioeconomic status when he went to college. I'm talking about Alice Hormozy right now. I don't know what his socioeconomic status was when he went to college, but you know me, I'm always thinking from a 2-year to 4-year perspective. So if you are somebody like you got the grades, if you got the grades, I think you should apply to Ivy and see where that goes. But also, you should keep your options open for a 2-year college if you're not looking at much money. Like shop around. But how can you shop around? You have to start early. I don't know how early you can start. That's a good question. How early can you start applying to schools? That's a really good question, right? And I probably should know the answer to that, but you never know. Different states, different rules. Something I should know, or not something I should know, but something I should definitely learn to know. But you want to shop around schools. You want to start like definitely when you get to your senior year. I know you can, but you want to be shopping around the different schools early because then you can know like how much money you're going to get potentially for that year and going forward. And so, but yeah, it depends on your return on investment. You always want to start at a 2-year if you're in a certain situation. If you don't have the grades and you know like Ivy is off the table, you can start at a 2-year, restart everything. Because once you go to college, we don't care about what you did in high school. When I started at my 2-year, high school didn't matter. You might as well not even put it on the resume. If you go to college, don't even put high school on the resume because it doesn't matter no more. So I go to a 2-year. I study because I'm doing an example of my law friend. I want to go to school probably at a 2-year for paralegal, something related, or English, because I know he did English for his bachelor's, or yeah, paralegal English, or something related like criminal justice. Some people do criminal justice, something that can prepare me for law school when I get there. So then you get your associates, right? But remember, before we do that, I skipped the point. You want to make sure you know your end goal of your bachelor's. What university has a partnership with 2-year colleges that's near me, right? And you might think this is pointless, but there's people out there in those small areas, real rural areas, or small towns that are looking for options like my university doesn't have a law school, my state school. Like your state school has a law program, that's a pro bono. But if they don't, you're trying to figure out how can I go and get the best affordable education, right? Because it's not like everybody always talks from a perspective of, oh, I know this and I would just go straight Ivy, or I would just go straight this and that. And I know, but it's hard when you're 18 and nobody is breaking it down to you, or 15 or 14 or 13. And sometimes these parents never went to college. So somebody has to break it down like, oh, it's that simple. It's really that simple. So like you want to make sure your university has a partnership with that 2-year, or if you want to go straight 4-year, but in this case, make sure that university has a partnership with that 2-year. You go to that 2-year and you make sure you like, okay, articulation agreement, I bridge over seamlessly, smoothly, but you always got to do your part and make sure you know like, hey, they say in order to transfer to this institution, you got to have a 2.5 or you got to have a 2.7. And the reason I always say that is because if you don't do good at one school, the way they see it sometimes is that like, as me and Sam talked about, the misconception that a 2-year is easier than a 4-year, it's opposite. So like if some schools tied up like this, like, hey, your students got to have at the 2-year, they got to have at least a 2.5 in order to transfer to our institution. If they didn't have a 2.5, they can't do the articulation agreement. These agreements all like have moving variables. And so when you go to a 2-year, bridge over to a 4-year, and make sure, like, if you want to make sure that 4-year has a law program. So you don't have to keep bouncing from school to school. Some people like, I would have to let him tell you, but some schools like have high priority. So if you go to a certain school in undergraduate at a university, and you go apply to like the law program, the physical therapy program, or whatever program, I only say that because I know people in those career fields. You want to make sure but there's a chance that they're going to take somebody who was already at the school before they take you. And the reason is because this student was with us in undergraduate, they get higher priority. That's just how it goes sometimes. Like you're coming from another school and we don't want you, or they're going to put you on the wait list. And that goes into a whole nother category, right? And you can get waitlisted in undergrad. I advise you, if you get waitlisted in undergrad, just go to another school. Because I have never heard anybody say, I've been called up from the wait list. Is there an age limit for Pell? Alice Marie, you asked that question when my financial aid person is not here. From a person like me, I use Pell through school. I'm gonna say, let me think. There's a cutoff for sure, though. There's a cutoff for sure. There was a cutoff when I was using Pell. There was definitely a cutoff. I want to say it was based on the per credit hour. It's not age, because only reason I know it's not age because I see older people all the time from work experience. I see people from work experience all the time who are older students. They call those, which is why I never understand why they say non-traditional students and all that. But we're not gonna get into that. But non-traditional students are considered people who like over 25, over 30, starting college. And so it's students like them sometimes who are like 40 and they're eligible for Pell based on income and all these other things. But that's the best I can give you. But yes, I believe there's no age limit. I didn't even do the disclaimer. Don't sue me, Alice Marie. Alice Marie is gonna sue me now. But there is no age limit. Definitely a per credit hour, kind of like similar to the Georgia, because we're in Georgia, like the Georgia Hope Scholarship and Grant Scholarship, if I said it right. Georgia Hope Scholarship and grants and stuff. But like I said, you asked that question when my financial aid person not here. And so it's okay though. I'm about to move to the next topic. So remember what we just talked about with Alex Hormozy, but he doesn't think about the return on investment. As I am a person who works in higher education, you can look up a typical academic advisor entry-level salary, and that should give you an idea of what I make. But all my degrees cost about $25K. You see what I'm saying? And it cost me $0. And that's including from associate. As you see, my associates, my bachelor's, and my master's. That cost me like 25 to 35 max K. So it really depends on what you're doing and how you're paying for it and managing the time management on that. I think people try to zoom through college so they can live their life a lot faster, which is okay, and I understand that. But this is a very much patient thing when you're going to college. And if you plan on going like masters or like med school and all that, you definitely got to have patience and sacrifice a lot. In today's time, people don't want to sacrifice. People don't want to sacrifice no more. We want it like now, of course. And like even just from live screens and videos I make, you could tell people don't want to watch the 2-hour or 3-hour videos. And I understand that's a lot of time out your day. I don't even watch. I watch like one channel that has a 2-hour, 3-hour live screen. But we just in a fast-paced time, which is understandable. So you have to watch it when you can. And don't listen to people like this. Listen to him for his business. In the comment section, actually, let me highlight that. The comment section said disagree about the doctor part. So you see that people respect him in his business, but they're like, yeah, bro, why would anybody want to waste time and money on a broken system? Well, not that part. Somebody else said something. AI tutor never is. No, not that one. It's another one in here. I'm definitely looking for the bad stuff. Okay, right here. So now he persuaded somebody who thought about going back to college, and they're now they watch this video and they're like, I'm not going back. But now they probably had a chance at increasing their career pay slowly without realizing it. Like people don't know, like when you start leveling up and doing stuff in college, put that on your resume. I don't know if people do that. Like she said, I think this is she or he. I keep thinking about going back to college, but every time I can't convince myself that it's worth the money. Like, I don't know about you all. When I go to college, when I was in school or was in school, yeah, I would put what I did in the classroom. That's how you know if a college is really helping. I would put what I did in the classroom on my resume. If I gave, you know how many presentations I did? So if I did X, Y, Z presentations, like 20 to 30 presentations while in class in front of all, like, think about it. You do 20 or 30 presentations, however you want to write it up, split it up on the resume bullets, and then you say, I presented this in front of like 20 of my class peers, or you can say over 100 technically, because you've taken different classes throughout your whole time in college. So you really could say like to over 100 or 200 students, if you put it in that perspective, which builds your public speaking ability and lets them know that you're not scared to public speak. But you just be like for me, I haven't had public speaking on a mic as much. Like I'm more comfortable with speaking without a mic in front of people. But I would have to need experience with a mic because I know mic comes with technical difficulties. I could be too close on the mic, too far back on the mic. So keep that in mind. Whatever you do in the classroom, put it on the resume, especially depending on the job. That's like you might have to do research on the job. That stuff can be helpful because people like him is going to need people to code research things and find data. It's called research and development. So all that college is, sometimes people don't think this stuff through. I don't think people think stuff through when they say it. That's why I say I think it was a clickbait, but I definitely used it. It definitely gave me some content because, then I'm the villain. It's just like, okay, then I'm the villain. Okay. So to trump what he said, that's not sharing my screen because I want to show you all first. Give me a few seconds. All right. And let's do the disclaimer because I did not do the disclaimer, y'all. I started talking about financial aid. I'm like, Lord, this will be the one they get me. Should be right there. Let me see. Tools. And we would like to take the time to present. Give me a few seconds, guys. We'd like to take the time to present for this small break in between while we do this. We'd like to take the time to present this water bottle during the commercial break as your very own TAL. I don't know what brand this is, but they got free advertisement. So stop sharing that. Share this. So disclaimer, remember that this is for informational purposes only, and therefore, if you are to choose to attend the institution, please do your own research and consult with a specialist at the institution you're interested in. I am not a financial aid specialist, academic advisor, or representing any institution. Speaking on behalf of Creator, Henry is only speaking from his experience. So remember, guys, if you hear me talk about anything on here like the financial aid or institutions like how I spoke about Vanderbilt, remember that you have to go back and do your own research. It's really important to do that because information changes by the day. National policies change by the minute. State policies change by the day. And you never know what your local area has done as well. So always check and do your own research. I'm giving you guidance. And I was having a conversation today with some old coworkers. I went to visit one of my universities today. And when I visit my university, I'm gonna put the sound on just in case. When I visit my old university, guys, remember I was talking about the budget cuts in universities. So the budget cuts hit my university, Valdosta State University. And some people I know lost their job due to budget cuts. And this is why I tell you that you got to stay kind of like one step ahead a little bit. And you have to really consider the fact that universities don't know what they're doing. And this is for working professionals, students, y'all can listen to this, but this is about working professionals if you work at an institution like a university. Universities are not good with their money. They literally mismanage their money from simply paying the top-heavy people too much money, and the lower people who deal with the students on a day-to-day basis get paid little. And that sounds familiar, right? And so when I heard that, it was just like, oh, wow, it really happened. Like that person, I used to stop at their office and talk to them, and so for that to happen to that person, it's kind of like, now they probably look at colleges as a bullcrap job because it was a state-funded job. Now, I don't know how they had the funds set up. That's the next part. If you are trying to get into higher education, work in higher education, ask that question in the interview. Like, hey, how is this job wired up? Is it wired through the state? Is it wired through like endowment funds? Like schools can write up a job position how they want to write it up. And the funds can come from state endowments and all kinds of donor money. It can come from anywhere. And so you have to really know, like, how is that set up? If not, they treat you like a pawn and just knock you off the chess piece. And so that's why they don't like me, I guess, because I tell you what you need to hear and what you should know, but it's only up to you what you do with that. So right here, what I have pulled up is it's definitely okay. This is from Comment App. If you don't know what Comment App is, you definitely should know what Comment App is. When I was coming out of high school, we had a funny interaction about this because I didn't know what Comment App was. G knew what Comment App was. I didn't know what this was at the time. And I was like, what is Comment App? Because I was like on the live screen talking, and then I was like, man, G, they should have an app for students where they can just apply like one time and ship it out to schools. And he was like, they do. And then I was like, what is it? He was like, Comment App. And I was like, what's the name of it? Because the way the conversation was going, it was like, I was like an app. And he was like, yeah, Comment App. That's what it should be. And I was like, it was like, it's already created. And I was like, it is. And then I typed it in and found out it was Comment App. And so Comment App, real quick, has provided us with chart of the day. I got this from Chronicles of Higher Education. And then this is the actual document presented by them, actually. So this is their first year application trends. And then, where is it? Hold on, right quick. Where is it? I'm gonna move this closer, so I'm gonna keep going down. So it talks about the majority of college applications are sharing their test scores according to Comment App. It talks about the reversal from the last cycle. And then as it says that the latest, according to the Comment App latest look at the application trends among its members, it covers the cycle through March 1st. It says that is a reversal from the last cycle. The majority of applicants had not reported a test score at this time last year. The number of applicants reporting a test score is up 10% from last year, while the number not reporting one is down 6%. Okay. So the ones who didn't report a score or don't report a score is down -6%, while people who are reporting their scores is up 10%. But I wanted to find something in the data that was interesting to me. So I put down Comment App page 1 to talk about. So one of the things that stuck out to me on page 1 was that they showed that growth in applicants from below median income. So median income is like poverty, low income backgrounds and stuff. They're saying that is up 8%. And as we keep going, y'all can see like the total applications, like 9.4 million, literally. And then you got applicants, 1.4 million. And then returning members, 911. So with Comment App, what did I say, page 9. I don't know why I said page 4. This page 9. It was something else on this page I was looking at. I said page. Oh, maybe was I looking at this one? I was looking at this one. I was looking at that one that time, but I meant this one. So so when it says growth in domestic first year applicants, when it says growth in domestic first year applicants by that water on my face. When it says growth in domestic first year applicants by underrepresented minority status, of course, if you are well versed in this, when they say domestic, you know they are talking about within the United States. So right here, as you see it, they say first year applicants by underrepresented minority status since 2021 to 2022. It slowly increased over the years, showing a 5% increase, and then above a 3% increase. But this one right here, I like the most though, because they break this one down by demographics. Because people like the guy we was talking about before, Alex Hormozy, if I say his name right, he didn't say college is trending down, but it's linear. Yes, it shows you that there's an uptick, which is it gets better too. It's a better one that I like after this on page 13 and 14. And so as you see, it breaks down by demographics. As you know, guys, I'm not the biggest like DEI person. I'm not. I even said that in college and grad school. I had to stand on what I believe. I got my reasons. Hopefully I get in the interview and I can explain that. But as you see, they're showing you that like the growth in domestic first year applicants by federal race / ethnicity. They show that white is plus 2%. That's my forte. Look at you taking stats. So they show that white is 2%, plus 2%. There's a clear gap. Paint that picture how you want. There's a clear gap. And then you got Latinx. Did I say that right? Latinx. Latinx. These terms always changing, guys. But Latinx, I heard Latinx pronounced before. I heard Latinx. I say Latinx sometimes. Latinx. Forgive me if I say that wrong, but I believe it's Latinx. And so they're plus 3%. Black African American I think that's 8%. Hold on. I can't even see that. Yeah, 8%. It's 8%. That's 8% if y'all can see that. So 8% right there for Black African American. Asian plus 4%. But as you see, everything is showing, at least according to Common App, people applying as first year applicants is going up steadily. Now, are they actually enrolling in school? I don't know that part. I don't know if they're actually enrolling. I don't know if they're actually like pick the school. We don't know that part. I don't know if that's in here. I didn't go that far because, guys, like I said, I work. Sometimes I don't have time to just go through all this data and just, especially if y'all just gonna look at it for 2 seconds. No. You can find this on your own. You can definitely go on Common App and find this data. You can definitely do that. Yeah, you can definitely do that. As Marie said, I got that right. So I'm going to page 13 and 14. And the reason I show this, guys, is because I don't want you believing that, like I said, when you hear people like Alex Hormozy, you're gonna hear that name all night. Hopefully that generates some views. When you hear that, people saying college is not worthless. College is worthless. It's not. College is worthless. I don't see the point in going to college. That's what I want to say. Data shows something different. Data is showing that people are going to school, which leads us to the Iran war. So the reason I want to talk about the Iran war real quick while looking at this is because I'm not even using data with this right now. I'm using theoretical perspective. When wars happen, you might have some more people going. I don't know the data on that. I don't think there will ever be data. It probably is, but I don't know. The military will have to post that data. But when people hear wars are going on, you're going to have a lot less people wanting to go to college. You're going to have people that's like, I gotta eat. Costs are rising. Like things are getting expensive. Wars are going on. I think I want to go to college now. I think college is in my best interest. So now you're looking for the opportunity of how to go to college. That's why I said like there's this opportunity rising, which is like a 2-year college, because everything going on with the Iran war is like, usually which I'm reading this book now, haven't got far. I read the preface and I'm literally, can you see it? It looked like the light is not helping. So like I'm literally on page 1. It's about the emergence of the American university. And immediately when I started reading this book, it talks about how like when wars happen, things in education kind of follow behind it. And it's very interesting. So I'm really looking forward to that because I'm like, you'll catch the signals. So with the Iran war going on, of course, everybody has their opinion on that. I'm not focusing on the Iran war. Yes, Alice gonna get me. Preface. Yes, I know I probably said it wrong. Yes, I probably said it wrong. Probably preface. It's probably ain't no telling how y'all say it. It's probably like preface or something. And I'm like, it's definitely a preface. Preface. That's how it's supposed to be pronounced. I'm not gonna do this with y'all. Luckily, G is not in here today. I'm not gonna do this with y'all.
Preface.
It's preface. What the? That is not preface. That is preface. I cannot with you all. I cannot with y'all. It's preface, but it's okay. It's okay. So, growth in domestic. This page 13. Yeah, I said 13, 14. So, this data right here shows. I think it was the title on here. Yeah, I just got it really close for y'all to see. So it says trends by student social economic status. Now, remember, Alice Hormozy just talked about social economic status of going to college, right? And I was like, well, the Common App, chart of the day, this video, they kind of go hand in hand. It's kind of comparative. So it says, in addition to student race slash ethnicity, we examine multiple dimensions of student social economic status. We display applicant trends by first generation status in figure 9. First generation students exhibit strong growth at 6% compared to this point last season. Now, I was a first generation college student, I think. I don't know if I was because my sister went, but she kind of was learning how this higher education stuff went as well. So technically, I still didn't know anything. And my older brother went as well. And so I had a lot of people going before me, but immediate family, it was my older brother and sister. And then, but they still like, my older brother and my mom introduced me to 2-year colleges as a good thing. That's the best thing I can say. That was the head start I had right there. But even while going, it felt like I was doing the wrong thing because, you know, like I say, everybody has a good time at 4-year universities. It's good to see the change, though, because I remember being in school and I remember being in school at a college and I remember being in school at a college at my 2-year while people were having fun about university. I was talking about university and da-da-da. Now it's like, kind of like now people are like, it's sort of like that. Like, it's okay to go. Like, our generation is open to a 2-year, but the older generation is still trying to make us go to universities. That's why I say it feels like a fight sometimes, because the older generation believes strongly in like you have to go to like one of these schools that you see on the national championship or March Madness. When honestly, with me, I feel like it's just 2-year in Ivies at this point. Or a school with money. If the school got money for the regular students, I think that's a school for you. And knowing what I know now it's just getting more like advanced. I'm just getting more advanced to understand like, okay, I understand immediately now there's no one way to do it. And like, if you're really a incredible student, like, and you do get into Ivy League, for example, and you're like, I don't have to pay anything, depending how they got set up, depending how it really depends on like what you do, like how fast you do your financial aid. And like we talked about earlier, how fast you do your financial aid and how much they're going to offer you. Because remember, you're not the only student going to the school. And then if they're not giving you a fair deal, you can always just take 2 years to cut back, then transfer there. Like, you can go from 2-year college to Ivy because you're in your gen eds, like Sam, the financial aid specialist even gave that credibility as well. Like, of course, you want to contact the school and make sure, like, hey, y'all gonna take my general education classes, y'all gonna take my math, English, and stuff. So you really do want to make sure that. But with the trends of the economic status, they say we display applicant trends by first generation. I said 6% compared to this point last season, while the number of continuing generation applicants declined by less than 1%. People who are coming from generations that go to college don't want to go to college. The generations who like their parents or somebody went to college, they're kind of like trying to do the trades. While people like me from What's that word they use? Where is it? It's not in here right now, but we finna see it, I believe. You can just say first year. I thought they split it up in this one. It was the above one then. I was combining with wait. This is not it. This is 12. Here we go. Let me go down. Is this it? Here we go. By zip code. So as I go down, had to skip the other part. But as I went down, growth in domestic first year applicants by zip code, median household. So right here, this is what I was talking about. So below the national median household income, below the national median household income of $435,000. That's a lot of people. But remember, guys, you need like $10 million in America to be comfortable. You need like $10 million of worth, liquidity, and all that to be comfortable in America. And as you see, they said above the national median household income is 880. That better be thousand. $880,000. 880,000. 800,000. 880,000, yeah. And then below the national median household income, which I fell under, and a lot of people I know fall under, is like, like on a business, since they like talking about other topics besides their own, on the numbers and basics. If you know numbers real good, like when people out there do, they know like if you don't make a certain like 200,000, like that's why I think Yale did it. No, Emory did 200,000. I think what me and Sam talked about, like how Emory said, look, if you make less than 200,000, you can come to school for free, depending on the criteria and stuff, right? And as you see, they said below the national median is 435,000. So that is increased by 8% because people are starting to realize the power in going to college and how it can change your family dynamics. While the above national median household income, they're kind of like slowing down. They're at 2%. And I'm gonna be honest with you, the people who are above the national median household income, they could probably blame. So I would blame social media for that, because now don't get me wrong, they still have the people. Remember, Donald Trump's son goes to NYU. Like billionaires are still sending their kids to school. Bear with me, they're still going to school, but the numbers is slowing down. Like you got people who want to do, like one of the things I always compare is like, I don't know why wealthy people or like certain people of wealth or fame lower themselves down to people on the internet who they never seen or met. And so like, that's why I never saw the point in social media, because I can reach someone, which is very helpful for somebody like me trying to reach out for my business. I can reach out to someone with a simple message for free. And this person who I'm trying to reach out to has worked their whole life to get where they're at, to make 10, 20, 30, 50 million dollars, right? For a career or yearly or whatever. And I can reach out to them by email, text message or whatever, however I can get in contact with them. So when you get to a certain status, I just don't believe that you're on social media. I can't believe it. But if you are, and you are a certain status, and you are, it's kind of hurting your family dynamics. You might want to shy away from that. And so that's 13, page 13 and page 14. Page 14, it was interesting to me. Page 14 was interesting because it talked about how, like, based off zip code, once again, like for all my people out there in the rural towns, like this is rural. If y'all can see that, I'm gonna zoom in for y'all some more for this particular one. So people in rural right there, it's an 8% jump. And people in small towns, like where I went to Valdosta State, in Valdosta, Georgia, that's they seeing a 7% jump. And then is that micropolitan? I never seen a micro. What's a micropolitan? I never seen that. Let me Google that right quick. Hold on. I never seen that word before. Micropolitan? Whoa, I never heard that. I know metropolitan, but micropolitan? Never heard of that. Check that out. So right here it says a micropolitan statistical area is a U.S. geographic entity defined by the Office of Management and Budget centered on an urban cluster with a population of 10,000 to 49,99. 10,000 to 50,000. I don't know why they did that, because maybe 50,000 is metropolitan. That's probably why they did that. I need to see an example of this. What is considered now? What is considered? Dang, you're not gonna tell me a state? Well, I'm in Georgia, so let's see. Okay, so like Auburn in South Georgia, like Tifton, Moultrie, Thomasville, that makes sense a little bit. So now I got an idea. If I was in a different area, it's funny though, because they said other areas like Valdosta, but Valdosta is considered a small town allegedly. Like according to like the College Navigator and stuff, they be using all these different terms, right? They be tripping us up. But yeah, so micropolitan, then you got metropolitan. But metropolitan is 3% less. And because they're saying like growth in first year domestic zip code. I don't know why metropolitan. Because in that, I was about to say like because colleges are more expensive in those areas, but this is based on your zip code and where you're from to apply. So I don't know why metropolitan is down. And they probably explain it in this, but we're just going through the data to show the increases. And so they said we also examine growth in applicants over time, different regions, United States. And then right here it says Texas continues to outpace large states in applicant growth 7%, although the growth rate has slowed compared to this point last season, when the state exhibited a 37% year-over-year growth. And then buoyed by this growth in Texas as well as growth in Oklahoma. And then what they saying, southwestern region, 8% again outpaced growth from other regions. Mississippi saw the fastest growth rate applicants of any state compared to this time last season, 27%. So I bet people in Mississippi I bet they are applying to get up out of there. They know college gonna get them out of there. Who wants to be in Mississippi? Mississippi is terrible. And if you ain't been to Mississippi, go on take a trip. Go on take a trip to Mississippi. Let me know how your experience is. Stay off the back roads. Recommendation. Highly recommendation. And that's pretty much it with that. But that is Common App. If you want to go look at that document and read, and you know this generation, my generation, older generations sometimes they don't read. So if you want to go read and see some data, here you go. And as you see, it's called Common App Deadline Update 2026 March. So all you gotta do is go on Common App or type in Common App data or something. Use your AI tools that you think is gonna help you, and hopefully you can interpret the data right, because AI isn't gonna teach you how to interpret data just yet. So for my YouTube University people out there, AI people out there who think you can use an AI tutor, okay. Okay. I got something else. I got plenty of information. Close that out. I need that. I need my LinkedIn. I think I'm gonna switch to LinkedIn. Oh no, real quick. I think I have it in here. This is actually a good topic. I don't have to read the article to know about this. This is definitely from experience as well. I feel like it's something to talk about. So the shortcut that made college harder. So how California's math reform left some students behind. So if you know about No Child Left Behind, and I believe it's called what is it? What else is it called? Hold on right quick. And then after this, we'll jump into a college review because my lung is getting better. And I feel like, as you can tell, guys, I'm still cooking at 55 minutes. And so we'll definitely do a college review because I know college review is what makes the channel so much better. Yeah, look, I had to bit my lip. So, fun fact, I had bit my lip really bad when I was younger. I don't know if you could tell, but on one of these, I had to look and it left I think I got stitches in my lip. I don't remember exactly. I had to ask my mom. The No Child Left Behind Act was signed into law by President Bush. It was a major bipartisan update to the Elementary and Secondary Education Act. And so, why am I talking about this, right? It requires schools to use annual standardized testing. Grades 3 through 8, 10 through 12, and to demonstrate adequate yearly progress to receive federal funding. If you don't know about No Child Left Behind, you should check it out. Why am I talking about No Child Left Behind? There's other forms of it. Let me see if I can find it. I am really gonna take the time real quick on this live screen to see some No Child Left Behind. Because they changed it. All right. So the No Child Left Behind Act was a 2002. This is just AI general review, but I wrote a paper on this about how it got updated and everything. And so the No Child Left Behind Act was in 2002, 2015, and actually President Obama played a role in this because he was in here for 2 terms between this time. And so the No Child Left Behind Act was a 2002 to 2015 federal law emphasizing standards-based education, mandatory standardized testing, and strict school accountability to improve proficiency, largely replaced by the 2015 Every Student Succeeds Act. And that was the other one I wanted to say, the Every Student Succeeds Act. And then the Every Student Succeeds Act keeps key testing requirement, but gives states more flexibility and accountability, replacing the strict federally mandated penalties of the No Child Left Behind. And so what came with the Every Student Succeeds Act and No Child Left Behind, like zero tolerance policy, zero. So with the zero tolerance policy, it imposes automatic strict punishments and usually suspension, expulsion, or termination for specific prohibited behaviors, regardless of circumstances or intent. So pretty much with the zero tolerance policy is like if I accidentally flick my pencil at my teacher and it was a complete accident, usually at Title I schools, you're getting hit heavy. You're getting hit heavy with that. And so you might say, well, this is nothing bad. This is nothing like my school wasn't like this, but a lot of schools had this. And so depending on how your school, that's where it gets into like your actual school, and it goes into like the school board. It goes in levels. It's never just like universal. It's never like that. But based on my high school situation, with the zero tolerance policy, like we had police officers in the school. I don't know if every school had that. Every school should probably have that now, depending on the school because of school shootings. But the school shootings kind of seem like a way to make this a lot easier, putting police in your school. So when you put police in the school, you see students oftentimes leaving in handcuffs, going to juvenile. And so, yeah, but students will get in trouble for little things. Even if the student was like really good, it depends. If your teacher was a a-hole, they had a lot of power to like send you away, even if you were a good student and you really accidentally flicked your pencil like at the teacher. Like imagine you sitting at the front of the classroom and you was writing or playing with your pencil and you just threw it at the teacher on accident, or like it just flipped over there somehow. And so definitely should look into that. Just saying. But what that got to do with this? because it's similar. Because with the shortcut that made college harder, even at my 2 year that I work at, like they don't require testing to get into certain programs. So you can like they were talking about the math situation in here. Excuse me. So whoever they talking about, they jump straight into it. All right, after 3 years of towing 300-foot poles across the rocky terrain of Nevada gold mine, if I say his name right, Lujan was grinding away in California coffee shop, contemplating his next move. All right, so when college lawmakers voted in 2017 to all but eliminate remedial math across the state community colleges, I even did remedial math, guys, before I got into the actual college math. And let me tell you something. Even with the college math, when I took the college math after I did my remedial, which I passed with an A. I passed remedial with an A. And then, I passed college math with an A. But, I had some help because I should have made a C. And I'm going to leave it right there. And so, but to eliminate all, it says when California lawmakers voted in 2017 to all but eliminate remedial math across the state community colleges, Nicholas LeWan was the kind of student they hoped to save. So he used to carry, like we said, 300-foot poles across the terrain in Nevada, but he was in the coffee shop contemplating his next move. Given his struggles with math and his years-long absence from the classroom, enrolling in a local community college might have landed him in a sequence of non-credit remedial math courses before he could even start earning college credit. Faced with such hurdles, many students drop out. And many students think like, okay, in a short and concise way from a political perspective, because politics always play a role, they think that the easiest way to help students like taking less classes is the best way. But when you're taking like the math, the English per se, like those are like probably the hardest class, because eventually you start getting in the classes you choose in life. Everybody has to take English and math, college level. Those are probably like the hardest ones, because you never took anything like a college English or getting used to that type of writing. And then you never took really, you've seen the math, but college math is just college math. Everybody's not good at math. So, and they're trying to get rid of, or they got rid of, it seems like, of that you don't have to do remedial math. I feel like it's still offered there. I hope it's still offered it in California, but you don't have to do it. You can just jump straight into your college credit math class. Seems like a good idea at first initially, but if you can't do the basics in the remedial course, what makes you think you can do the college version? And if you chat GPT or use AI for math, AI is wrong. And honestly, I think they're taking some time to crack down on AI cybersecurity so that you cannot use AI to help you with as much of this coursework, because we do need people to learn. At least I hope we do. We do need people to learn. And so right here it says skeptical math professors push back, warning of an influx of unprepared students who might struggle with even the co-requisite supports. So direct enrollment in transfer level math, right? They're showing that like boom, 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 spike up right there. Now, what is this chart indicating? They should probably explain that to me. The chart includes students whose first math course was at the transfer level in the fall of 2015 to fall of 2023. Across California community colleges, results are rounded to the nearest whole number. Of course, they didn't really specify. But we see that spike up. They didn't really specify the data right there, so I don't want to misuse that by any chance. So, that's him. All right. So as we keep going, when he was 22, LeWan, I'm gonna say LeWan, put in his notice at the mine and clocked in at a coffee shop. in a coffee shop in Reno. He was sent with a crew to open a coffee shop in Menlo Park, California. That is where his troubles with math resurfaced. There's some information out there too, to your rule, but not having to talk about the math. It's saying right here that the following year he enrolled in Mendocino College, if I said it right, a small rural 2-year institution in Northern California where 5% of the students are Native American. The highest among the state's 116 community colleges, the one whose parents hadn't graduated from college, showed up to register on the first day of classes without books. And guess at a major that might interest him. So 10 years after his last math class, he landed in trigonometry, the lowest level option available. Trigonometry is the lowest level option? You crazy. Even though the course included extra review sessions and tutoring, the gaps in his knowledge felt like chasms. He squeaked by with a C and then started calculus. Hey, that's even good to squeak by with a C. So, with all that being said, as we keep going they're going into his story. And I really think, and they're showing a college. Wow. All right, this is good before I get off of this for sure. So, Banta is a member of the Faculty Association of California Community College, which has been lobbying to allow some community college students a more gradual on-ramp to college level math. The move to eliminate nearly all remedial math courses, they argue, has led to higher failure and dropout rates and pressure to relax standards on some campuses. New students' first attempts at transfer level math at Mendocino. I really want to learn how to pronounce that word right there. But Mendocino, I'm definitely finna copy and paste that. That's gonna bother me. I see it multiple. When I see something multiple times, I gotta highlight it. Nope. Here we go. Pronunciation.
Mendocino.
Oh, I said it right. Mendocino. I thought I was saying it wrong.
Mendocino.
Oh, that's dope. Thought I was saying it wrong. Did y'all hear that? That's Mendocino. So Mendocino College. So the percent passing in 2018, of course, that's when I was in college, or at least at 2-year colleges, but this is in California. They had an 82% pass rate. By fall 2022, it dropped to 58% with math. And then right here, oh, that's passing. Oh, yeah, I said that right. Yeah, it's passing. And then percent fell in 14 to 17%. And then obviously you can see where it just keeps going with that. Like percent withdrawing at the census, 4% to 25% is a big jump. So that's a little bit on that. But the whole ordeal I was trying to get at is if you don't feel, the whole ordeal I wanted to get at with that is if you are not comfortable taking like, you gonna slide over so I can do this. It's always something trying to fight me. All right. So the hard, wrong thing. Okay, there we go. So the hard deal is if you are trying to, I'm gonna actually look at LinkedIn too real quick. I feel like we got some LinkedIn posts I want to talk about too. I got time with you all. I got time. I always got time. Because I hate seeing something. I'm like, that I gotta talk about that Thursday because I should have talked about it Tuesday. But the whole deal with math or these remedial courses, if you're not comfortable about taking a class without remedial courses, please use the remedial courses. Remedial courses actually help you up because it gives you, like, the way I look at it is constantly getting that repetition in your head, how to flow the math problems and how to assess math problems naturally. Even though I'm a strong believer that you only need you need division, percentages, multiplication. Dang, that's all right. You need add, subtract, multiplication, dividing, and percentages. And you do need those a lot. Only reason I say that because I use those a lot when I'm doing basic math for the market, like stock market and stuff, doing basic calculations. But I have never, since in my 26 years, used college algebra since taking it. I have not used it. Pizza is circle, and yeah, pieces are circle, and somehow they are triangles, and it's that simple sometimes, you know. Sometimes it's already done for me. And so college algebra and carpentry and stuff type of math is not the same thing. Technical mathematics and all that, not the same thing. So if you need remedial classes, take it, use it. It builds up your it does builds up your confidence, repetition, because you're gonna go like the way my 2-year did it. I did the remedial courses in the morning. Then after I did the remedial courses in the morning, like actually it would be back to back. I would do the math class in the morning, then do my actual math class right after. That's how I would do it. Yeah, that's how I would do it. So it's like you're constantly like, that's like college class is usually like 1 hour. So that's like 2 hours of math right there. Then you go into the tutoring. We called it the tutoring support lab. So then you go into the tutoring support lab to get more tutoring for another hour. And I asked the college students, guys, not college students, I asked the high school students when I talked to them. I said, how many of you all have a tutor? So you already playing at a disadvantage when you're trying to go to college or compete to get in college, that these other kids have tutors. Tutors are very valuable. They're very valuable. So Alex Marie asked us a question. What was your favorite thing to eat in college? Probably explains all my cavities, but my favorite thing to eat in college was a peanut butter jelly sandwich. Peanut butter jelly sandwich. That was probably I was being cheap. It was only eating it because it was cheap. And unfortunately, at a 2-year college, they brought people to eat. They brought people to feed us. It wasn't consistent though. It was like Popeyes. It'll be somebody on the like from a local business coming to bring food. Of course, we got to pay for it. They wasn't giving us good prices. If you really want to go get some good food, honestly, link up with your university friend and tell them to let you into their cafeteria. The people in there don't care. I did that a couple of times. I just went and ate at the university cafeteria. Sorry, I didn't pay the price for it, but I definitely abused that a couple of times. So, to all colleges become private where you can't go on the campus, I'm going to use the stuff they have, which I don't think they ever would do right now. So let me see real quick. Oh, goody. I know why I wanted to talk about this. Oh, goody. All right. Greedy. So this is a post by Steve Whitehead. He's an independent executive consultant for senior higher education. He has an ED. Sorry, Steve, but I am going to click on your page real quick. Steve is this is a sign that he's verified. He has 2,500 followers, which is very good. Let's see where he went to college. He went to college. Oh my damn, I know this man did not put every little thing on here about his freaking Lord Jesus. He was in the military and he got a Bachelor of Science from Penn, West California. He got his master's. He did graphic and multimedia. He got his doctorates in education science. Indiana University of Pennsylvania. He went to Academic Leadership Academy. He put every little thing in here for his education. But We're about to talk about this in a minute. So his jobs, he doesn't have much. Before I say he don't have higher ed experience, so he was an adjunct professor, so that's how he got into higher ed. Professor. Oh, he was an intern associate provost, vice president of academic affairs. There we go. Then he was an associate provost of innovation, associate vice president of academic affairs. He served 23 years for California University of Pennsylvania, where he got his education, which is interesting. But he did not go to school for higher education at all. He just got his doctoral in education. I don't know if he probably understand the higher education lingo at a certain point, but you get what I'm going with this. It's always the people who don't have the higher education lingo, and I'm gonna leave it right there. And he's a network member and all this. Now he does independent executive consultant, self-employed, so his own little business. All right. So I had to get a little background on him because I ain't know much about him. I have to see these posts so I can view what their perspective. Where are you coming from with this? So he said, "Are we quietly?" It got a good bit of like reactions. Like I know did I react? I didn't react to it. I thought I did. So he said right here, definitely AI generated. Hey, shout out to LinkedIn because a lot of people who be making posts on LinkedIn and definitely be using the AI tools and stuff. So he was like, are we quietly recycling presidents in higher education? It's a pattern I continue to notice in presidential searches. Leaders moving from one presidency directly to another. The instinct is understandable. Boards today are navigating demographic decline, financial pressure, political scrutiny, and growing public skepticism about the value of a degree. In moments like this, experience can feel like the safest choice, but what about the risk in that instant? When institutions primarily look for leaders who have already sat in the chair somewhere else, they unintentionally narrow the leadership pipeline, while overlook capable first-time presidents with fresh perspectives on the challenges ahead. Yeah, put a fresh perspective president like me in there. Put me in there. We wearing our hoodies and stuff. They ain't doing everything they doing now broken. So stop it. Watch. I'm not talking to you right now. We all agree the challenges are real for higher education. Some projections suggest that roughly one college is already closing or merging every week, with 20 to 25% of institutions potentially facing closure or consolidation, as we just talked about earlier, like Valdosta State. And in the coming years, those facts are from the Chronicle of Higher Education article. Colleges face widespread closures, so why are they resisting change? Arthur Levine and Scott Van Pelt, if I said it right. In a moment like this, the question for boards may not simply be who has done the job before, but also who is prepared to lead differently. The future of higher education requires both seasoned leadership and the courage to open the door to new voices, new ideas, and new approaches to guiding institutions through structural change. I like that. That was very definitely insightful. So Steve Whitehead hit some heads on that one. He definitely has a great point because universities are doing the same as I talked about with Sam behind closed doors, but this is not nothing bad. We talked about how like it's kind of cringe when I see a university president now. It's not, they can still do the same thing, I feel like, after getting input from Sam and shifting my mindset a little bit. College presidents don't understand how cringe it is when they are constantly like smiling and taking pictures. And we're getting to a time where you want to know your college president in some form or fashion. Not to the T, not like they need to be content creators, but college presidents should like really be open to more like things because they are the face of the school. And sometimes you have no idea who your college president is. Like, especially like, a school like University of Florida who hasn't had I still don't think they have a solid like president. I think they still have an intern president, college president. And the reason for like University of Florida doing things they're going through is because they have a lot of politics involved with theirs. But like politics is naturally in colleges and higher education. That's natural. But they have overly like chose politics over academic like education and over academic freedom, over academic like academics should be like first, then you should consider like the politics, that comes with it. And so that you understand your mission and your values of an institution. Because when an institution goes against their mission and values, kind of like core principles, it defeats the purpose. It's like it's going to trickle down to like your prestige professors that you have on staff. Then from professors, it's going to trickle down to your students. And then now you're producing, instead of top-notch students, you're producing mediocre students. And now we have a problem in the job market. This is all theoretical. Now you can have a problem in the job market in that area or whatever, that the University of Florida students are not like they used to be. Then that's how that conversation comes on. And so I like what he posted. I'm gonna follow him as well. And so, but yeah, college presidents schools are closing, they are merging. Remember, they are decreasing. And I said that universities, we said it was a higher ed bubble. It just didn't get a lot of traction. It didn't get a lot of respect. And so now you're starting to think like, man, it's not even safe to work at a university right now in some cases. And all right, quick. It's like not even safe to work at a university right now. And that can be a mouthful for some people. Like, it's not the same. As Drake say, nothing will be this, or nothing's the same. And it won't ever be the same in higher ed, because presidents, I honestly feel that presidents make too much money. University presidents make too much money, and they should have a cap of like 250,000. And then like their VPs should probably make like 200,000 or 150,000, but the cap should be like 250,000, like how public officials make less, like who work for like the United States government, like representatives and stuff. They have a cap on what they make. But a lot of them, as most people say, they do inside trading. But besides that, public officials like state representatives, people who do politics, like senators and stuff, they don't make that. They make good money, but it really be the benefits that come with it. Like, I don't think they make over 250,000. Like, let me see. I got an internet right here. How much? This is a senator, though. Senator probably make good money. How much does a senator make? Yeah, they don't make that much. It's nothing too crazy. United States senators earn a base annual salary of $174,000, a rate that has remained unchanged since 2009. Leadership roles within the state. So you get where I'm coming from with this, right? And then, like, that's off a simple chat GPT, and then they actually posted on here, though. But that's going to something else. But if I'm wrong, let me know. But senators public officials don't make nothing too crazy. They don't make anything too crazy. And that's how it should be in university schools. But for some reason, in universities, they overly pay athletes can have their own, like, not athletes, but the coaches and stuff. They can have their own separate budget if they making enough. Because if athletes not making enough, they're just gonna pull the money out of another pot, respectfully. Because where else they gonna get the money from? And people think that's okay, but when you're okay, if a sports program is not performing well and they're not selling enough tickets, and let's just say all the sports are not performing well, ticket sales are down across the board for all sports at the school. Now, I guess is where the athletic director comes in at, or somebody who's going to be the spokesperson for that athletic program or whatever. Has to go pitch to, like, I guess the president, VP, or whoever, depending on how they chain of command work. Hey, numbers ain't looking good over here. Can we get some money to hold us off? And like when we read articles, like back in our live streams, if you go watch some of our early live streams, if you want to backtrack when we mention sports, but hey, our programs are not looking good. Our sports programs are not looking well. Can we get some money to hold us over? And the school might have to be like, well, we can go reach into our endowment or whatever funds they have. But let's just think about it. Like, if they reach into a certain part of the funds, it don't matter where they're getting. It does matter where they're getting it from. I'm just saying hypothetically, they get it from somewhere where students pay money, like the tuition fund. It might be literally a tuition fund where students pay money every semester or whatever. And they might say, look, we can pull from the tuition fund. But, you know, like this could go so many ways. But in this instance, I'm like, because we seen like say, oh, we seen that. I think in most cases, the athletic program was helping the institution, or the institution was helping the athletic program, however it went. But that's how it can go. And then you can simply cut back on all of that just by lowering the pay for a university president, lowering the pay for these VPs, lowering the pay for anybody who makes over that crazy amount. Then it's like, oh, then now we're not going to have people in there who can help make the school better. Well, it's not better anyway. So like paying a freaking president multi-million dollars is not helping the college anyway. It's not helping the college. Paying a VP multi-million dollars is not helping the college anyway. If universities are like the guy said right here, let me pull it back up. Like the guy said right here, people love to pull out stats and statistics when they want a grant, when they want something or whatever, but when you put it in front of them about something that should be obviously an easy decision, it doesn't happen. It's crazy how life works sometimes. So what they said to that, because he said in the beginning, I think too. Oh, right here. He said boards today are navigating demographic decline. I don't know what that can entail. Demographic decline could be a lot of things. Financial pressure. Where is the financial pressure coming from? Where is the financial pressure coming from? People always say financial pressure, but they never say where. I'm going to say where. Stop paying the top heavy so much. Now, y'all do what y'all want to do with that. I don't know. Until they sit down with me and break this down, which they never would do because they're going to be stumbling on whatever. I'm the type of person, you need to pull up the balance sheet for me and break it down bit by bit. And we better have this accounting right here, not lying. Because you never know what I know. Because math is math at the end of the day. That's one thing I learned in math. Numbers don't lie. So, political scrutiny. Now, you can't do nothing about that. People just always going to be mad. That's part of the game. Political is part of the game in this career field. Growing public skepticism about a college degree. If you explain to the students about return on investment and provide accurate information on your public websites, that can go away so easily. But instead, you have this sticker price crap. You have this crap, that crap with different numbers here and there, here and there. Like literally, if you go on Google right now, type in like, you simply type in the University of, I look up schools a lot. University of Michigan, for example. And you go right here. Where is it? Right here. You see, I said tuition and fees right here is $17,000. Out of state is $58,000. Then, so they used to have the other, I guess they took it down because it was really inaccurate. But they used to have another part of the data up here that used to be like really misleading. And so if you had that up there, prime example, then you go up here. This is just an example. University of Michigan, sorry, but you're the first one that came to mind for some reason. And we already did a review on University of Michigan. We just haven't posted it. Agree. So then you go here and you're looking like, what? It's $15,000 a year. I'm confused. Then you go here. You see how confusing this can be? I just went to 3 sources. You got the Google prices up here, right? You got the Google prices up here. You got that price right there. Then you go here. Y'all know me. It's already up there. Tuition and fees. Let's do undergraduate. That's pretty accurate. Say tuition fees is 18 grand. So Google was slightly off. But then you look at like, boom, this is really your price. For the year. $38,548. That's really your price. But Google said $17,000 for in-state tuition, which is kind of accurate because, like we said, it was close. It was 18, but that's where it's not universal. The prices are never universal, and that's probably irritating people. I figured it out along the way, but a lot of other people probably won't, and so they need to consider that. And it's probably another post I would love to talk about, but I'm not gonna do that to y'all right now. I'm not gonna do that to y'all. We're gonna do our college review. Michigan is not gonna be the college review. Michigan was just a quick example because they were on my mind in that moment. And so I don't think I need YouTube no more. I don't think I need YouTube no more. So what college are we gonna do? You know, so many colleges, right? And so let's see. We'll like take this time to present you with water and why you should drink it and hydrate. When you don't have water, you don't have hydration. Not punchy, but catchy. While we get this up. A few seconds. That mouse still charging. Yeah. It should be good. So I was charging my mouse, y'all. I think it got some juice now, yeah. I think for spending the college lotto, do I want to rock out with a 2-year college? I did Wait Tech before. I think I want to rock out with. I'm trying to think of a 2-year college. Actually, let's do a college from March Madness. Let's do, yeah, that's a great way. March Madness. All right, so it's a lot of schools starting the NCAA tournament already. Let's do, I see a lot of schools in here. Let's do I really think we should do this school. No, let's go. What's the other schools up here? It's a lot of schools. My goodness. Let's do this school. Never heard of them. All right, quick. I lost them. All right. I was looking at a school, y'all. I think they call St. Mary's. Let me see. St. Mary's. Yeah, Yes, St. Mary's, California. I never heard of this school. But I'm hearing about them now because they're in March Madness, and that is them. That gotta be them. That's that logo. That is them. Yep, as they say, the Gales are headed to the NCAA tournament first, and that's where I got it from, actually. So we're about to learn about them. Okay. All right. So they're in California. What part, though? So they are in, I don't know what that is. Zoom. Literally, they're on St. Mary's Road. Crazy. St. Mary's Road in my city, too. Must be popular. So St. Mary's College of California. They have 2,024 undergraduate students. They are a 4-year private nonprofit. They are suburban. They're medium. And they have a graduation rate of 76%. That's pretty good. That's over the 4-year. That's over the midpoint for 4-year schools. They have an average annual cost. Remember, this is including financial aid. I should ask Sam about this, but this is including, all this is always including financial aid if you're going to get it. So they're including that. They have about, I'm going to just say $32,000 in average annual cost. It's over the 4-year midpoint. And that way, from our like reverse engineer mindset, that's not good. We want to see it below that because that means we're kind of getting that could lead to a good return on investment in college. And they have a good earnings though. They sound like, look, within 10 years of being removed from our institution, you would be making about $79,000 a year. So it's pretty good. And let's keep going. So before we keep going, we got to fact check that. Let's fact check that annual price, right? So, when I go on any school website, this is in California, by the way. I still don't know what part of California. I thought the scorecard would tell us what part. Oh, Moraga, California. If you know what that is, I don't know. Let me know. So right here, tuition and fees. Don't seem like a bad school so far yet. I never really heard of them though. So many colleges. So for they already got 2026. The semester finna be over. So this is based on, they're basing it off the future. So 2026 to 2027 cost of attendance on campus. Most students stay on campus, but remember, if you stay on campus, this is what you're expecting. They already got it calculated for you. Annual full-time rate, 12 to 18 units per semester, max 36 units, which means per credit hour, essentially. You're looking at $61,500. Is that tuition? That is probably tuition. But that includes for the year. They're saying, like, look, you're going to pay about $31,000 per semester. But remember, I believe St. Mary's College of California is a private college. I think they said that when we was in there, just making sure with Google. Look, they only pop up for this, but people already don't know they're probably a good college. There we go. So yes, they are a private college. Remember, guys, excuse me too. Naturally, private schools are going to cost more. So please keep that in mind that if you are in California and considering this school, that they always are more. Private schools are just naturally more. Don't ask me why. They can teach how they want to teach, instruct how they want to instruct, and do things their way. They possibly could still get money from the state of California. It all depends how they got it set up, but they're private. And so, and they also are a religious school as well. That's what that is what the College Scorecard told us. They told us they're Roman Catholic, they're Asian American, Native American, Pacific Islander serving institution, and Hispanic serving institution. So they're probably known out there in California. We probably just don't know, but private schools, you don't know much about them sometimes. Like many people don't ever hear about them. So remember, with food and housing, you're looking at about 19,000. That's per year. That's for the year though. So you have to divide that up into two. And so I always like to just round it up to the biggest number. So 19,000 divided by 2. That's $9,500 per semester you're looking at for food and housing alone on here. That's really important, guys. You got your fees, your annual fees, you got the books, the personal expenses. Remember, if you ask me, I don't ever include personal expenses. I'm just looking at it as like you should have your emergency fund. But after everything, you're looking at about $87,000 or $88,000 for the year. And $88,000 divided by 2 is $44,000 $44,000 per semester. So if you have $44,000 per semester, shout out to you. But if you don't, and you're going to be using financial aid, or like you're trying to say, I really want to go here, pay out of pocket, I'm going to tell you now, you don't need to go here if you're trying to do this on your own and you don't really qualify for financial aid. Because we talked about that too with me and Sam, with my financial aid specialist. And I actually want to go through this with him because that'd be a dope to be like, hey, so like, you know, like, so that's going to be a cool interaction with him because we kind of just be bouncing off each other. So like we talked about costs already. Remember, they base it off like what you're going to get with financial aid, like federal, state, and or institutional grant aid. They already have that in there. So that's why I was like, it can drop. Like you could potentially be paying $17,000 per year. You know, if the school is really respectable, like it seems to be, with that high return on investment, allegedly, you know, so far it looks pretty good, depending on how you want to view it. But like I said, if you don't qualify, really, you're going to be looking at this is not going to be a good look for you. So graduation retention rate, they have 86%. 86% of their students return after their first year. That's really good. That's a B average. They have remember we already said they got a C average. They have 76%. Did I already click on this? Nope. So then 54% of their students receive federal loans. So that's kind of high. Knowing what I know about the financial aid now a little bit, that's pretty high. That means it seems like half of the students, a little more than half of the students are, or I'm gonna say half of the students in a pinch, that's how I want to say it, are not getting as much money to them to pay for school freely. So it seems like you're going to have like half of the percentage of students who go here are going to have to pay for school on their own or get loans. That's what it seems like. So then they have the median total debt after graduation is like $24,000. That's probably like your average debt that normal students get after going there. Keep that in mind. So, like we said, $79,000 is what you're looking at for like at least 10 years being removed from the institution. This is based on what? The median earnings of former students who receive federal financial aid. So this does not include students who didn't get aid. So a student who didn't get aid, it would be a good question to ask them, how much are you making out of school? And it depends on their major and everything, right? So you make 79% more than a high school graduate. That's C average, but I would just say 80, but okay. Remember, if you are considering to go to a school, remember, do an in-person tour. If you are out of state, I don't recommend, I highly do not recommend you going to school out of state because you're going to pay out-of-state costs. If you do not have out-of-state money and you can pay out-of-state costs, do not listen to this part. But if you know, like, if you don't know that, out-of-state is more money when you go to college. Why? It's probably tax implications. That's the only thing I could think of. But hopefully we'll get somebody who can break that down to us. But never go to school out of state. That's one of my principles. If you go to school out of state, it's going to be hard for you to strive for a debt-free degree like I did. But I'm always telling students, don't go based off the internet. Go see what the actual campus look like for yourself. Go see if they really are having these students that fit the demographic like they said. Test scores and acceptance, they have an 89% acceptance rate. So what does that mean? That means they're accepting a lot of students. And that's probably not a good thing for them because that means they're well, considering the cost of the college, maybe that's probably why they're doing that. They just need students. And guys, like and subscribe. When you see a school that's accepting anybody and everybody, and they have a high, like, they're charging a lot of money, you don't want to fall into that trap, essentially. That's kind of like a trap. Like, I can see if it was like, like a prestigious institution had a low acceptance rate because they're offering something potentially that not everybody can get access to. But this seems like they want everybody to have access to, but they're a private school. So just a little weird. That was weird. I thought it was going to be like 10%, 5% or something. So it's a little weird. But St. Mary's College of California has an acceptance rate of 89%. St. Mary's College of California does not require an admission test scores, SAT, ACT. But remember, guys, that they are starting to bring back the SAT and ACT to separate students who really, I guess, want to be in school and stuff like that. So consider it. Think about it. Like SAT, ACT could help you, and essays, depending on, like, I seen some students write essays to get into colleges. So definitely consider that part too. And then, of course, I'll have somebody on eventually in the future. They'll probably have to be retired or not on the interview because a lot of times some people don't want to speak and they work at a college and they don't want to give out, I guess, information that could help a student get into college. That could help a student get into college. I don't know. But definitely I strive to get somebody who does like the admission process and they understand it like they're the back of their hand. So that's what my conference is going to come in play because I think that information is out there. I just think it has never really been recorded. So during the application process and does not recommend that students provide them. So with all that, with the school having a high acceptance rate, it seems like it has a good return on investment, but it's very expensive. So like you are like how Alex was, my girlfriend, if you're like how she was, and she didn't qualify for Pell, So if she wanted to go to the school, she went to the school. I always think like middle income, high income. Sometimes they don't want to pay this money and they go and student on debt. But if you are like if you qualify in regards to go to this school, you're not paying the full price, I still won't recommend it. It's super high because you never know what might happen with financial aid or anything, or what the school might pull back on funds. What they gave you last year, they might can't give you that next year. And I don't know. I don't think we ever think about that. Like, just because the school gave me this much money and I didn't have to pay this year, does not guarantee they're going to pay me this next year. You never know what might happen with their funds and their institutional things that they have going on, right? Remember, they pay presidents too much. Remember, they pay the VPs too much. They'll pay the coach before they pay you the money. They'll pay the athletes before they pay you. So you got to keep that in mind. Like, tomorrow is not promised. It's literally like that saying, tomorrow's not promised. So don't try to jump the gun and say, yeah, next year I have this money from the school and this financial aid money or whatever. So that being the case, knowing what I know now in this aspect, I'm going to have to give them a D. They pass, but not pass. Not the best, really, school. And it's a private school. So it's not really like your only school on the block that's making change happen. I could be wrong about St. Mary's College of California. But they don't have to get a D. I don't know what academics they offer. Of course, they can always look me up. Ask for an interview for more clarity. Like, hey, I feel like you got us wrong. I feel like we're better than that. We set up a little interview because they have all these majors as I'm looking at it, accounting, anthropology, if I said that right, as a minor. They got some art majors. They got blockchain as a minor. They got some majors that I'm looking at, but I'm gonna be honest with you, like, to be honest with you, these majors are like, I can get these at other schools for a lot cheaper. Like they got French. I couldn't get that at my school, I believe, at my state school. They got Greek as a minor. But a lot of these other classes, a lot of these other majors, my school had these. Besides all this dance, I think my school did have that VSU. They have a very good theater program. Kinesiology has never really been a popular degree for many. I know somebody with a kinesiology degree. Yeah, but a lot of these majors you can get for a lot cheaper at a state school, state university. But that's only looking at this is undergraduate. I have not looked at their graduate programs to see what they got. They might not have many. It don't seem like they would have, but they have a lot actually. You can get a graduate degree in dance. You can get a certificate. You can get a graduate master of fine arts. And on that note, I am just gonna close this out and save my comments for next time. And so, yeah, I give them a D. Appreciate the live stream. Appreciate y'all chilling with us. We made it to almost 2 hours, pretty much. And we'll be back Thursday, and then we have to leave out Friday. So we might live stream Friday. You know how that is. And I'll see you guys later. As Sam and G say peace, chicken grease. That's our thing. Sam saying, man, we should say peace, love, chicken grease. So you know what? It all fits together. Peace, love, chicken grease. Get it on the shirt soon. And we'll see y'all real soon. Save money. Remember, make sure your university has a partnership with your 2-year that you're considering to transfer to. And remember, always think about the end goal and think about the articulation agreements and pathway agreements. And staying off campus. Do not get a meal plan as well. And please work on your budget skills, because in order to save money and strive for a debt-free degree in college, you have to save money. You have to be a good steward with your money and budget your money and try to be independent but resourceful at the same time, because that's going to help streamline you into like saving money and making money in college. That's why I always strive for affordable colleges when I was going. That led me to get my associates, my bachelor's, and my master's. Most people can't even get a master's because of the cost of college. So you always want to work up, like take a stairs approach. That's why I should call it the stairway method. You always want to take the stairway method into going to college. Don't go downstairs to college, because when you go downstairs in college, it's like you started at the best school. It is, and that it's not saying that my schools are not good. It's just like it's like you going to Columbia in undergraduate, and then you went from Columbia to like Valdosta State University. That's my school. And it looks kind of weird because it's like, why did you go here after going there? And it's like, because you couldn't really afford it. But in another perspective, because life is all about perspectives, they're thinking you wasn't really who you are, I guess. I don't know. But to go from Ivy to public will throw some people off, right? It won't throw me off. I understand the perspective, right? But it's like, So just keeping that in mind, guys. And yeah, we'll see each other again.